Hello, in this video we will do exercise 6, page 37. In the figure below, C is a circle with a center O and radius 2 cm, and I is the midpoint of OA. Midpoint. Midpoint means OI is equal to IA. Now, draw part draw the straight line D perpendicular at I to OA. How we draw the perpendicular? We take the ruler, we put it on OA. Why? Because perpendicular to OA. So we put the ruler on OA and we take the set square, we put it on the ruler and we move it till it passes through which point? It is perpendicular at I. So we put the set square, we move it till it passes through the point I. Then we draw the perpendicular and we elongate it because it is a straight line. Then don't forget to write the name of the line. It is a straight line D, so we write the name of the line D. Now, mark the points M and N intersection of D and C. It means where D cuts C. D cuts C in 2 points. The first point here, it is the point M, and the second point is here. So D cuts C in 2 points, M and N. Now, draw the straight line D1 perpendicular to OA at A. So we take the ruler, we put it on OA to OA. We take the set square, we put it on the ruler and we move it till it passes through which point? A. Then we draw the perpendicular. And we elongate the line because it is a straight line, we elongate it. And don't forget to write the name of the straight line. The name is D1. So we write D1. Write D1 on the line, on this line. The name is D1. Now, what is the relative position of D and D1? Explain. Now the question is, what is the relative position of D and D1. First, we forget to put a small square here because it is perpendicular to OA, and a small square here because it is also perpendicular to OA. Now, the question is, what is the relative position of D and D1? D and D1, two straight lines. If the question is, what is the relative position, for example, of D with respect to C, so the answer will be second, tangent or exterior, because we are talking about straight line and circle. But here we are talking about D and D1. So the answer should be O perpendicular or parallel. Let's remember the rules. Do you remember the rules? Perpendicular, the first rule, perpendicular with perpendicular give me parallel. If two straight lines are perpendicular to a third straight line, so they are parallel to each other. The second rule is parallel with parallel give me parallel. If two straight lines are parallel to a third one, so they are parallel to each other. And here the figure is like this, perpendicular and perpendicular give me parallel. And here is like this, parallel and parallel give me parallel. The third one is parallel with perpendicular give me perpendicular. So if two straight lines are parallel, then each perpendicular to one of them is perpendicular to the other. Now, look, D and D1, they are how? They are parallel. So it is or first case or the second rule, or the first rule or the second rule. How we know which rule? It is from the figure. We know from the figure is like this figure or like this figure. It is like this figure. So it is the first rule. Look, D is perpendicular to OA and D1 is also perpendicular to OA. So the two straight lines are perpendicular to a third one, which is the same OA. So it is the first rule. And how we answer? Let's answer. It is part C. First, we have to write symbols. Then we write the rule. We say D is perpendicular to OA. D is perpendicular to OA. And D1 is also perpendicular to OA. So, look, D and D1, they are perpendicular to the same straight line. They are perpendicular to a third, so they are parallel. So, D is parallel to D1. And it is which rule? It is the first rule. First rule, and we write the rule. If two straight lines are perpendicular to a third straight line, so they are, or then they are parallel to each other. Thank you.